Are you looking to blast your enemies with icy magic? Do you want a magic based build that packs a punch? Then let me introduce you to the Ice Mage. The Ice Mage is a mage build that allows you to output big damage numbers from range. It provides massive AoE magic damage and gives you that mage gameplay feeling. So what makes the Ice Mage? We start with Grey Wizard's Hat. Grey Wizard's Hat is a light artifact headpiece. Its unique perk, Brilliance, provides us with plus 100% max mana. This provides us with a massive mana pool of 200 mana. This allows us to spam our skills on cooldown without having to worry about mana issues. Grey Wizard's Hat also comes with 45 intelligence attributes, giving us a few more attribute points to play with. For the perks, it comes with Refreshing and Physical Aversion. For the final perk, we have added Ice Harnessing. For our first weapon, we will be using the Ice Gauntlet artifact, Deep Freeze. Deep Freeze's unique perk, Chilling End, buffs our damage output by 15% against enemies who are frozen, rooted, or chilled. This effect impacts both weapons. Given that our Ice Gauntlet abilities chill enemies, this buff will frequently be active. Deep Freeze comes with Vicious and Refreshing Move. For the final perk, we have added Unending Thaw. This causes Ice Storm to deal increased damage and prolongs the frost effect on enemies. For our second weapon, we'll be using a Fire Staff. For the perks, we'll be using Vicious, Keenly Jagged, and Empowering Fireball. For the gem on the Fire Staff, we are using a Ringglass of Frozen Aquamarine. This converts 50% of the damage to ice and inflicts Frostburn on hit, dealing 8% ice damage per second for 2 seconds. Converting our damage to ice is key to synergize with the perks on our armor. For our armor, we are in a light equip load. For our chest, we are using Health, Elemental Aversion, and Ice Harnessing. For our gloves, we are using Enchanted Ward, Refreshing, and Ice Harnessing. For our legs, we are using Health, Thrust Conditioning, and Ice Harnessing. For our legs, we are using Health, Thrust Conditioning, and Ice Harnessing. For our boots, we are using Elemental Aversion, Slash Conditioning, and Ice Harnessing. Including the perks on Grey Wizard's Hat, this puts us at 5 Ice Harnessing, giving us plus 10% ice damage. In addition to this, in some of our armor pieces, we have added Ringglass of Frozen Opal. Each armor piece with this slotted further boosts our ice damage by 2%. It should be noted that adding the Ringglass to the armor is optional. For M1 and M2 this is fine. However, for M3 you will likely want the specific element protection gems for the element of the mutation you are doing over the Ringglass gem. For the amulet, we are using Health and an element protection perk that matches the element of the mutation we are doing. For the ring, we are using Hearty, Ice Damage, and Leeching. As we will be playing from range, we will be outside most of our healers' AoE heals. Considering this, we use Leeching to help provide some self-sustain. For the earring, we are using Healthy Toast, Refreshing, and Refreshing Toast. For the attributes, we are using 50 Dex, 500 Int, and 73 Con. As this build is focused on dealing high magic damage, we max out the intelligence stat at 500. This gives us access to all of the intelligence attribute threshold bonuses, including plus 10% ability damage from 350 Int. 50 Dex gives us the attribute threshold bonus of plus 5% crit chance and plus 5% damage whilst at full health. Our remaining stats are all placed into con, which gives us around 70 con, dependent on gear score. For our skills, on the Ice Gauntlet, we are using Ice Spikes, Ice Storm, and Entombed. Ice Spike provides AoE damage and staggers. Ice Storm provides ongoing AoE damage and slows. Both of these abilities also inflict chill on enemies, thanks to the ultimate chill passive. This allows use of the Deep Freeze's unique perk, Chilling End. Entombed provides invulnerability, mana regen, fortify, and cleanse. This can be useful if we pull enemy aggro, or to avoid attacks and boss mechanics if out of stamina. For the Fire Staff, we are using Pillar of Fire, Fireball, and Burnout. Pillar of Fire provides AoE damage. Fireball provides AoE damage, mana, and cooldown reduction. Burnout provides maneuverability, damage, and cooldown reduction. The main combo will be to use Ice Storm on a group of enemies, then spam our damage skill, Ice Spikes, Fireball, and Pillar of Fire. It is important to note that whilst we can attack from range, we need to wait until our tank has taunted and got aggro before attacking. Let's now take a look at some of the pros and cons of the build. Starting off with the pros. High AoE damage. Due to the various damage buffs and max int, this build outputs very high AoE damage. Safe from melee. As this build is designed to be played from range, we are safe from most melee damage. Feels like a mage. Through use of 2 magic weapons, each dealing AoE magic attacks, this build gives you the feeling of playing a classic mage. Now let's take a look at some of the cons of the build. Lack of debuffs. This build is focused purely on damage and does not provide any important debuffs such as rend or weakness. Healing difficulty. Playing a ranged GPS build can cause the healer some difficulty in healing, as it's typically easier to heal using AoE heals when everyone is in melee range. When using a ranged build, you have to accept that you will generally receive less healing, so you should take this into consideration. That's it for the video. If you have any questions about the build, drop a comment below and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.